Mean guitar? We're back with the best guitar series on YouTube. By now, you should already know that we're talking about riffs that make you go. And today we have another tuning specific video, and this is my favorite tuning ever because there's just so many great bands and great songs. It is Drop A, which to me is the 7-string guitar tuning. So let's not waste any more time and get right into the riffs. To start off, we have, ironically enough, a band that doesn't play Drop A on a 7-string guitar, but it's also by far the most popular band out of the entire list that plays in Drop A. It's Slipknot with the Aetheric anthem. Most of my favorite Slipknot songs are actually in Drop B, and the most famous Drop A Slipknot song, and probably the most famous Slipknot song overall, it's Psychosocial. But I feel that was a little too standard, and honestly, I'm a little over that riff. So of course we had to bring a riff from their best album ever, Iowa. And the verse riff in the Aetheric anthem is just packed full of energy and attitude. It's a type of attitude that in my opinion they really haven't been able to replicate recently. But besides that, I remember listening to this song for the first time. I think I was 13 years old and I thought it was one of the coolest sounds ever. Check this out. Next up on the list, we cannot do a Drop A riffs video without some deathcore on it, especially some MySpace deathcore on it, because it was the MySpace deathcore tuning. Now it's, I think, Drop G. And we of course have to include the kings of MySpace deathcore and just, I think, deathcore in general. It's Suicide Silence with Bludgeon to Death. For Suicide Silence inclusion on this video, I of course wanted to include something from The Cleansing. The last time I featured Suicide Silence on a video, the song that I did was one of my favorites, which is Genocide. And I said that that was tied for first place with Swarm, but I just felt like to represent this particular style of MySpace deathcore with their particular style of aggression, I just had to include Bludgeon to Death. It just has so many of the elements that represent how this kind of music sounded back then, and they're condensed very comprehensively if you ask me. Next up, we have to add our obligatory death metal band for the video, another band that has been asked to be featured on the list for a while now, and I think this is a perfect video to include them because this song is probably their most iconic one. It's Bloodbath with the song Eaten. I chose to go to the breakdown and groove after the intro riff of this song because it's just so simple, but it goes so hard, and it just proves that simple does it best when it comes to really heavy riffs. Following that, you already know that we have to add some slam on the list, especially in Drop A, which seems to be the most common slam tuning. And to represent that, we have the first slam band I ever heard with the first slam song I ever heard in my life. It's Abominable Putridity with the song Remnants of the Tortured. I remember listening to this song for the first time when I was like 13, 14 years old back in middle school. I was watching the This Is Exile by Whitechapel music video and it was recommended right beside it. I started breaking out of the lab and the scientists flying out really stuck out for me. And then the audio sample in the intro of the song really helped bring to life what was happening in the album cover. When I would listen it to the first time, I was like God damn, this is so cool. And then the song started and it was so fucking heavy. And after that, we have actually a song that I wrote, because my band just debuted it last week, and we actually play in Drop A. It's my new band, Grind Gang, with our first single, Perishing Placenta. It's basically the same riff the entire song with variations here and there, and then it goes faster and it goes slower. You know, to spice it up, this song was very clearly Dying Fetus inspired, a little bit of Waking the Cadaver influence there too. I mean, even the title of the song is a Dying Fetus reference. I premiered this song with a music video on Slam Worldwide last week, which you should definitely check it out, and I'll link it in the description down below, or you can watch it right here. But for now, check this riff out. Before we continue with the riffs, I just wanted to talk about this. This is my Ibanez RG7421. It's my first 7-string guitar ever, and it's probably the guitar I've been playing the most since the day I got it. It's the one that I used to write all of Grind Gang's music. I think it's a very comfortable, nice playing, and nice sounding guitar for the price point since it's under $500. But the pickups that came stock with it left a little bit to be desired. So DeMarcio was kind enough to send me a set of their DeMarcio Deactivator pickups, and I chose the Deactivator set because it's the set of pickups that Whitechapel has been using for the longest time, still to this day, and Whitechapel was the first band I ever saw that used a 7-string guitar, so it just made sense to go for this, and I just think this guitar sounds way better. It has a really barky mid-range that I love, which was my biggest complaint about the stock pickups that it came with. The mid-range of those pickups was a little bit dull, and I just think that they fit the particular guitar tone that I'm going for so well. And I encourage you to check them out. I'll leave a link in the description down below to DeMarcio's website down below. And I'll also leave my affiliate link to sweetwater.com if you want to check this particular guitar out for yourself, or any other guitar or piece of equipment that I use, and see if you want to get it yourself. But now, back to the riffs. Moving on with the next song. Funny enough, we were just talking about Whitechapel, and it just makes sense that the next song is Whitechapel with Prosthetic Fluid Asphyxiation. Back when I was in middle school and I heard this song for the first time, those really fast pick scrapes just felt so savage and they go so hard, but then it slows down into this really chunky and groovy section that I just love, and it just sounds so mean to me, and I've been wanting to include this particular song and overall many songs of the Somatic Defilement on Mean Riffs videos, and I will in the future because this is one of my favorite deathcore albums ever. Next up, we have a band that has been asked to return to the series pretty much on every episode. They were featured on the first ever episode of this series, and ever since people have been asking me for several songs of this band just so they return because they're one of the most crushing bands ever. It's Nile with The Burning Pits of Dwat. This is from their 2005 album Annihilation of the Wicked. This is the album that I discovered Nile with, and people often reference The Burning Pits of Dwat as one of the scariest Nile songs to play, but they have this verse riff that is just so crushing. It's a little less technical than their typical riffs, and I think this is to remind yourself that Nile is not just a technical death metal band, but also a brutal death metal band. I think this is where it applies to call them a brutal technical death metal band, as opposed to a technical brutal death metal band like, I don't know, all Cryptopsy will be. Speaking of Annihilation of the Wicked, this was one of the first band shirts that I ever bought in my life, but it doesn't fit me anymore, so here's a picture of my dad wearing it, and here's the riff. next up, we have to bring back some slam, baby. And we have to have the premier slam band of the moment and probably the biggest slam band right now. Peelingflesh with their song The G Code. This is the title track of their latest album, which just went full on with the gangster rap aesthetic, which I love. And this is my favorite Peelingflesh song. This particular part of it just goes so hard. It has a lot of the standard slam elements, but also it just goes really crushing. But anyways, here's an example of why Peelingflesh are the current kings of slam. Now we had to bring back, yet again, some more OG MySpace era deathcore. And I was thinking there's just so many bands that I could include in this part. Could have included Carnifex, Chelsea Grain, The Acacia Strain, or even a modern band like Slaughter to Prevail. They tuned to drop A, and I thought they tuned lower to like maybe drop G or drop F sharp. But instead I decided to bring a band that was very near and dear to me back in the day. Without much preamble, it's Impending Doom with the song Nailed, Death, Risen. This is the title track of the album, Nailed, Death, Risen. And I've been listening to this album a lot lately, and I just love how unhinged it sounds. What this particular song makes me think, and it's also something that applies to a lot of cleansing era Suicide Silence songs, is that when a song makes you wanna headbang sideways, you know that it really is hard and crazy and fucking wild. Finally, to end this video, we have to bring back some more slam, because it seems that now drop A is the de facto slam tuning, and I have no complaints. So here it is, Snuffed On Sight with the song Dummy. I have featured before, actually, this particular song from Snuffed On Sight. Anyways, I just think it goes so hard, it has some of those classic slam elements, but it has a bit of a modern edge that makes it go so incredibly hard. Take a shot every time I've said hard in this video. There's not much to explain here, it's just a bunch of chugging and pinch harmonics, but that's all you need to make the best riffs ever. That's it for today, gang. Let me know in the comments down below what are your favorite drop A riffs, and let me know what other tuning specific videos you would like to see and what are your favorite riffs from those specific tunings. Remember to go ahead and watch the music video of the first single of my new band, Grind Gang, on Slam Worldwide's channel, and stay tuned for more Grind Gang songs in the very near future. If you like the video, please click the like button down below, subscribe if you haven't, and click the notifications bell down below so you never miss a new video. If you would like to watch another video full of mean and nasty and disgusting riffs in a different tuning, you can watch it right here. All my social media links and my Discord server link will be in the description down below. As always, so please go ahead and check it out, and remember to keep grinding your gangling. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.